Hi guys, in this video we're talking about events. So we want to take a look at events. So what are events? I explained it earlier on in my introductory video. I said these are anything that users can actually do, like clicking of a button, taking their mouse over a certain element in our document. So that is what we call an event. So let's take a look at it. Let's create a simple button here inside here. So let's say this is a button, right? Simple button. Let's say click me. So I save this, I go to my browser to run it. So I run it on my browser, I see the button here, simple button here saying click me. So once I click this button, nothing is happening, right? So clicking on this button like this, it's an event, right? Then what then is event handling? Event handling is trying to do something when a user click this event. So I'm gonna create an example of event and event handling. Just by mere clicking here is an event. Then event handling is when they click here, what happens if they click here. So that is event handling. So let's treat that. So the first thing we're going to do now, we're going to create a function, a JavaScript function, right? Remember I taught you how to create function, the JavaScript function. So this is the function. Function, name of the function, let's say the name of the function is click me. Of course, no argument. Let's say all we want the function to do is to alert to the user, like something like hey, you just click me. Something very simple like this. And the way we bind this function to this particular button, so once a user click this button that is saying click me, this particular function alerts, hey, you just click me. All right, so we use an event in JavaScript, an attribute in HTML, and bind it together with this function. So we use that attribute, is called onClick, right? So we'll call it onClick, right? So the onClick, now we're binding this function called click me. So we'll just type the click me in it like this, and that's all. So go back to my browser, I refresh this, then once I click okay, hey, you just clicked me, right? So this is a simple explanation or example of the click event, and we're handling the click event to this particular button. So what we're trying to say is that once they click this button, the page should say, hey, you just clicked me. So that is click event, right? And we are handling that click event. So that is what is event handling in JavaScript. The event is the click. Handling the event is what we want them to do. The event here is the click. Then what we want them to do once they click is this alert, you just click me. So that is event handling. So let's shoot another one. Let's say we want an hover event. Let's say hover me. Hover me. So once I click, I will click on mouse over. So we'll call that on mouse over. So something like this, on mouse over. So this is it, right? So let me delete this. So on mouse hover, let's say on mouse hover now, we want to change this background color to, let's say, what now? Let's say red. On mouse over, once any user take their mouse on top of this button, we want to change it to red. So let's see how we could do that. So how we could do that, it's very, very simple. How we could do that, we could just create a function here and call this function hover me, right? Let us call it like this, hover me. So that's the name of the function. So remember our DOM that we treated, so we can give this an ID, for example, or better still, we can use query selection to get the second one. So let's just give it an ID. Let this an ID. Let's give it an ID of btn. So let's say we'll now come and we'll say document dot get element by ID. Remember btn. Then we'll add our style to it. So style dot background should be equal to what? Should be equal to red. Each time this button is being hovered, so we'll call this hover me, we'll bind it here. So we save it, go back to our browser, we refresh and watch what happens. See, once you hover it, the mouse change. What if once you take the mouse over it, the background will be none, something like that. So let's try. So that other event, we call it mouse out, right? So that one is on mouse out. Yeah, that's it. So let's create a function for it. So function leave me. Let's call it leave me. What am I doing? Leave me. All right, let's say once that is done, let me copy this line. So once they leave the line, let the background be equal to what now? Let's say none, for example. So I copy this leave me, I put it in here on mouse out. Aha. So let's try it. So hover, see, you see that? Aha. So now on hover, it changes to when the mouse is leaving the particular element, it changes the background to what? To none. So why this on click here, alert this. So this is about 3 events I just taught you guys now. The on click event, the on mouse over event, and the on mouse leave mouse out event. So basically, this is what we call event and event handling in JavaScript. Now before we go, or before we round up, let me just explain. Let me just create an example of probably popular example for event handling that you can see out there. So I'll create a button now. Let's create a paragraph text. Here and say I am the current content. So what I want to do now is once you click this I am the current content, I want to manipulate the DOM of this paragraph text to change this I am the current content to hey, I'm the new guy in the block, something like that. So I'm going to give this an ID. Let's say the ID I want to give it is let's give an ID of change, for example. It could be anything actually. So on the ID of change, I want to give this okay, don't need to give it an ID. Yeah, let's give it an ID of change. Then I want to create a button here. So this button, or we can still bind it with this one. Once they click on this button, this click me here. So I'll come here. Apart from the alert, I can say instead of alerting, you just click me. Let me take this here. I'll now say document dot get elements by ID. Change, of course, change dot inner HTML is equal to a simple text here saying the new guy in the block. All right, so I end my line. So basically, if I come over here, so instead of that alert, now once you click here, this text will change. The current content will change it like this now. I'm the new guy and the block. So basically, that is how you can track click event to do some certain things, and the hover event, the mouse over event, or the mouse leave event to do some certain things. So there's a lot of events out there, and you can actually learn as the class proceeds. I'm going to actually show you guys some other events that are necessary. And in the next video, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you understand. In the next video, I'll be talking about event listeners.